The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What is up, Nickel City Mafia? Welcome to another edition of Bill's Tailgate. Man, Jake, we're a little over 48 hours removed from that heartbreaking loss. But you know what? I'm re-energized, man. Sometimes we have these overreactions, Jake. And when you watch the film, and when I say watch the film for those that are out there, it's called All 22. If you subscribe to NFL Plus, they actually have coaches' films. So you get to kind of see different angles that you don't see on the broadcast. And it's a different story when you watch it. And before I get into that, we're going to have some film for you tonight. I'm going to go over about 5 minutes worth of film. We don't do full breakdowns, but, you know, Jake, is kind of fun to kind of show. We'll look at some of those Josh Allen things, but there's some good that happened as well in that game. And I have some comments as well based on the film that I watched. But and then we'll get into the Raider preview. The Raiders come to Buffalo. Jimmy G, best looking man probably on the planet. I don't know. That's what people
He's right
saying.
up there.
He's right up there, right? So Jake, how you feeling? It's been 48 hours, a little over 48 hours.
Yeah.
How you feeling, buddy?
I've had some time to kind of digest everything. I've watched a little bit of the All 22. You know, I just did a show with our boy Sean Kula, little debate show, and we was asking some questions just about Ken Dorsey and co. And let me tell you, you know what? I think I'm in the same boat, Mike. I'm a little more re-energized. I'm going to the game on Sunday as well.
Beautiful.
So I don't know if you knew that. I don't know
not.
if I told you that or not. Yes, so I will be there in attendance. So I am really, really hyped up for it. First home game of the season. There is still an energy and an aura here in Buffalo. Like people were, you know what? There's the 24-hour rule, right? You're allowed to be upset for 24 hours. Then after that, you're on to the next opponent. And I think the fan base is starting to feel that way. The buzz is in the air. You know, I'm surprised people haven't already actually started tailgating as of, you know, this morning, you know. So I think we are ready to move on and ready for Josh Allen to right his wrongs. And we're going to smoke the Raiders, baby. I'm ready.
Yeah, I love it. So let's say hi to Trek Reviewer. He's out there. Good to see you, Trek Reviewer. Thanks for joining us today. And look, after I watch the film, here's some of my takeaways, all right? And then we'll get into some film, actually. And again, small set of film, couple minutes, 3-5 minutes. But we want to do that from time to time. And again, there's negatives and there's positives. But let me tell you what I have and why I'm so pumped up after watching the film. So first of all, I can honestly say Ken Dorsey called a very nice game. I know you, depending on what channel you were watching, we all overreact after a heartbreaking loss. Jake, we were waiting a full year for this game, a full year, and we had done so much work. And Bill's Mafia, man, they were just all excited. And when you come out and you lose a game like this, of course, we said there's going to be overreactions. But Ken Dorsey called a very nice game. They were taking what the defense were giving them, and if you watch it, it was beautiful. It was something that we wanted more of from last year. We didn't see that last year. Well, we saw in this game, you know, look, the Jets are going to make you work hard. They're going to make you work very hard. You're going to have long, sustained drives to score against that defense. And we had plenty of long drives. Unfortunately, they were capped off with a few mistakes. But also, offensive line, they did a fantastic, I would say fantastic, because people in the Jets are going to be like, what do you mean? You gave up 5 sacks. 3 of those sacks weren't on the offensive line. If you look at the film, not at all. Not at all. Cyrus Torrence, he was the top-rated offensive lineman for the Buffalo Bills, according to PFF. And if you look at the film, there's no dispute. He was fantastic, Jake. I mean, there's a play I'm going to show you where he pancakes Quinnen Williams. Pancakes him.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a tough man to pancake, all right? Dalton Kincaid. And by the way, the offensive line, any offensive line, look at what happened when the Chiefs overhauled their offensive line a couple years ago after the Super Bowl. It took them 4 or 5 games to get rolling with that offensive line. Probably seeing that with Burrow a little bit this year as well. But the Buffalo Bills have 2 new players, and it's going to take a little time to adjust. But, man, they got right into it week 1. So it's only going to get better from there. Dalton Kincaid is for real. 12 personnel is going to be a nightmare for opponents, Jake. I know you love that. I know we're huge fans of Kincaid, and we saw him out there, and we saw that 12 personnel in action. And I wish we would have thrown to those guys a little bit more. And I'll show you at least one play where Dawson Knox on one of the interceptions could have been the target, and it would have been a big play. What else do I have here? Christian Benford, an absolute stud. Dude, it reminded me of Don Beebe in that Super Bowl loss, that huge loss to the Dallas Cowboys, where Leon Lett was about to go in for the touchdown, and Beebe didn't give up, ran it down, stripped the ball from him. I'm going to show you a film on that. I mean, Christian Benford, I'm so impressed with that young kid. He actually was the top, again, PFF gave him the top grade over Trey White. Trey White, according to PFF, didn't have a great game, mostly because a couple of the missed tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then we had Terrell Bernard thrown into the deep end. Jake, we didn't know what we were going to get thrown into the deep end. But overall, I thought he did pretty well, man. I was actually okay with what I saw from him. And again, he's only going to get better. He was very comfortable calling the plays. Yeah, he's a little undersized, but man, he made a couple nice plays towards the end of the game there, TFLs. And so I'm excited about what I saw from him. And then let me say this, and I know Jets fans, if you're watching, no disrespect, your defense is legit. They are legit, and they kept you in that game, and they won that game for you. But it took Josh Allen's worst game of his career, Jake, worst game of his career, for the Jets to beat us. And they did it barely. Now, there's folks out there that are going to say, well, if Aaron Rodgers was in the game, it would have been completely different. We don't know that. 4 snaps in, the Bills sacked him. And unfortunately, took him out for the years. Nothing we wanted to see. Listen, I want to see Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's just a great competitor, and it would have been a beautiful battle to see, a beautiful thing on that field. But we don't know what would have happened. The Bills' defense was taking over that O-line from the Jets. The O-line was suspect from the Jets, is what we all had been saying. They didn't really seem to do much from last year, and it was what it was. I mean, they weren't that impressive. And so we don't know with Aaron Rodgers. You can assume he's better than Zach Wilson. You could assume, but let me tell you, Zach Wilson was running for his life sometimes. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers was able to get away from a couple of those plays. So, dude, I'm so pumped. I am so pumped.
I can tell, Mike, you got an energy about you right now. I'm freaking digging it. I love it.
I'm telling you, this team is everything we thought they were. And if it wasn't for Josh Allen making look, everybody has a bad game. Let me tell you something. Last year, Joe Burrow, week 1 against the Steelers, 4 interceptions.
4
interceptions, right? He got off to a rough start week 1. Josh Allen off to a rough start week 1. Pat Mahomes has thrown 3 interceptions in a game. It happens to the best of them. I mean, there's so many great quarterbacks out there that have thrown at least 3, sometimes 4 interceptions. So look, man, they're everything we thought they'd be. And let's get into a little bit of film, and then let's get into this next game. We'll put it behind us. But I want to show you some of the things that I saw on film, good and bad. And let's get into it. And man, listen, I can draw tonight. I can draw on some things.
Hell yeah. I love it. We've been talking about it for a while. I'm excited for this. Here we go.
All right. So this is going to be the first thing we're going to set up here. Let me get this all set up properly here. Anyhow, buddy, anything you wanted to add while I get this set up for us?
No, I do want to echo a little bit of what you're saying. I think a lot of people were super fast to criticize Ken Dorsey and basically say, why wasn't he reeling Josh in? And I think that is still part of his job to obviously just let Josh know, like, hey, take what the defense gives you, just reiterate that over and over again. But overall, he scripted a game. And it wasn't the sexiest script or anything like that, but it was a game plan to beat this Jets defense. They are basically they're going to make you earn every single yard you get, and they are a bend, don't break defense. They will not allow anything deep to happen, but up in front, they will allow those shorter passes. And, I think it was very well scripted from Ken Dorsey's point of view. I'm not going to say it was like an amazing game by any means. He didn't call anything that was like super out of the box, but this defense doesn't allow you to really do that either. So I think he tried to make it as simple as he could for Josh. And I do really like the personnel groupings he was using. Specifically, you look at this formation alone right here. I love how you have Dawson in the 2-point stance and the Dalton Kincaid right next to him here, basically playing in the slot. It's really it gives you some options with different protections, and you can mismatch a lot of these players here on the edge as well. And boy, good luck covering these two as the season goes on. I think the chemistry is going to develop more and more with Josh and Dalton Kincaid, and it's already kind of there with Dawson Knox. I think a lot of the underneath routes were wide open all day, and to be honest with you, I think Josh he gets like antsy and he wants the points like right away. He doesn't want to work as hard as he needs to get downfield. But in this case, he really needed to take the underneath stuff all day. And, the fact of the matter is, he forced a lot of throws that he shouldn't have. And it ended up costing us the game.
Yeah. So the first two plays I'm going to show you are from the second drive the Bills had. This is where the interception happens, his first interception. But there are some good things that happen here. But this one I had to show you because this play, you're like, this is one of those Ken Dorsey plays that you're scratching your head. What the heck they thinking here? And let me roll the film here real quick. So this is just, you're like, what the heck happens
Pay
here?
attention to O'Cyrus Torrence here too.
Yeah, so I just want to show you this one. This is not the interception, but this is one of those plays like he looks to the right, and obviously it was a scripted run. I think a called run, but it wasn't a pretty call, and it obviously didn't work at all, right? And then Josh takes a little bit of beating with 4 big guys landing on him. So not something you want to see. Now let's get into the interception. So first,
one thing too, guys,
Go
Mike.
ahead.
One thing I want to point out too, pre-snap, if you watch O'Cyrus Torrence and his arm movement, they were going on silent count a lot, and he was the man responsible for that. So we talked about how good O'Cyrus Torrence was in this game. He did a lot of things that you won't really see in a stat book or anything like that. There are so many good intangibles with this kid, and he was very poised, and he went up against the best, arguably the maybe top 1 or 2 defensive tackle in the NFL, and did a tremendous job.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that they gave him that responsibility, but he did a fantastic job. He looked like a seasoned vet. I mean, he was incredible this game, and it's only going to get better. So this is the interception. I want to show some things here. So let's roll this a little bit. And I'm going to show you here real quick. Up here top is Dawson Knox, right? And over here is the Deontay Hardy, who he eventually throws it to. And once he rolls to his left, I mean, Josh isn't the best going to his left. Obviously, when he goes to his right, it's the Bills Mafia delight, because a lot of good things happen on the right. But anyhow, you're going to watch this develop here, and you're going to see that Knox, man, has this guy beat. But Josh is kind of already committed. I don't know what it is. He didn't see Knox. But again, let me just say this. If quarterbacks could freeze the frames like we're doing right now, it'd be an easy game. This is happening within split seconds, man. So again, to criticize him is harsh, because this is something he's making within seconds. So let's take a look at this. So again, watch Knox. I got him circled up top there. He's going to be your guy that you should go to on this play, because you're going to see he actually has, look at that. Look at the separation. Now, Josh initially looks like he could be going to Knox.
Right.
But he's loading up, man. He's loading up. Now, I don't hate this play. Let me say this. It's 3rd and 8, Jake. It's 3rd and 8. And if you look, the underneath was pretty much covered. So he's going to have to go downfield based on the play that was called. If he goes to Knox, he has the potential for a big play, but he doesn't. So let's finish this up here. And again, look at Knox. If he just throws it to the outside, oh my goodness, that's a big play.
A lot of people were saying, too, he could have taken it and ran, which I think he could have. He probably would have absolutely steamrolled that defensive back there. But, I mean, you had 2 options, essentially. He could have taken it and ran, or he could have thrown it to Dawson Knox. Yep, here we go. O'Cyrus Torrence there.
All right, why don't you watch our guy on Quinnen Williams, right? And the line does great. I mean, there's no Josh just rolls. Let's take a look. Watch Torrance here. Hello, Quinnen Williams. Take a seat. Take a seat. He pancakes him.
Good job, man.
Freaking pancakes him.
Yep.
And there you go. I mean, so again, this play here was probably a design rollout. I mean, let me roll it back just a little bit. I mean, because Josh pretty much rolls to the right pretty quickly here. So he's got good protection.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no problem with protection.
Right.
And then he just decides that he's going to go to his left. He sees something that he likes, obviously. But again, look down here at the bottom. Right
This is
here.
where he's so freaking dangerous. And
Yeah.
there are maybe him and Pat Mahomes are the only two quarterbacks that can throw across their body like this too. First off,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with Keith on this too. I don't really hate this interception as much as the other two either.
No,
I
I
think
don't
he's,
either.
it's 3rd and 8 as it is. We're at our own 35 or something, or 30.
Yeah. I mean, so
we're probably going to have to punt realistically anyways. And
Yeah.
they end up getting the ball at their own 4 or 3 yard line there.
right. Now this is what I'm more mad at. I'm not so mad at this one. Of the 3 interceptions, like Keith said, like you said, like I've said, I'm not mad at this one. I mean, it was 3rd and long, 3rd and 8. Nothing was really open. If you saw Knox, yeah, but like I said, they can't freeze frames like we're doing right now and being able to evaluate the whole
And trust
field.
me, he's kicking himself in the film room
Oh yeah,
watching this too.
yeah. He's they're talking about this for sure.
Oh yeah.
Now here's what I don't like. You get the team backed up within the 5 yard line,
Yeah.
and you give up an 83-yard run
Gash.
immediately. So
Yeah.
there's pretty much just 2 plays. This defense played amazing. They really did. But there were 2 plays. Breece Hall broke one for 26, I think, early in the game, and then he breaks this one. And credit to the Bills. And I want you to, again, this guy right here, Mr. Christian Benford, down here at the bottom. Keep an eye on this man. Kudos to him. Let's go. And we'll see the other view here. You kind of see who missed that tackle. But look at Benford. Benford's hustling. Now look, I want you to see Garrett Wilson. He starts celebrating like nobody's catching my guy.
Yep.
Nobody's catching my guy. Benford says, nope, I got him. Just a great rundown.
A great effort play.
They held him to a field goal.
Yep.
They held him to a field goal.
Huge.
That was huge because, I mean, honestly, if Wilson makes a block there, he goes in easily. Even if I feel he was a little gassed, but Benford, man, wasn't gassed at all, dude. He was getting faster as he was going. So just incredible play. I'm so impressed with that young man. And I thought he did a good job in coverage. And like I said, on PFF, he was rated the highest corner.
He really did. He had a very good game.
So let's take a look at who's at fault here. It was a little weird. Watch this. The Bills, all the linebackers here. You got Bernard, you got Milano, and they're gonna kind of crash in this way here. So something, I don't know if it was the call, if they thought they were going to go straight up the gut, but Breece Hall has the ability to bounce out, right? He'll come in and just bounce. Yeah. Trey White needs to come in and make this play. And I put this on Trey. So watch this.
Yeah.
So Trey, get in there, buddy. What are you doing? Get a little closer. Trey's never been known for a physical tackler, but here we go. He gets a hand on him.
Yeah, that was tough. And here's the thing on this play, he has outside contain, right? But so there's 2 parts to this, right? So he's obviously that's his assignment on this is outside contain, right? So this is a very difficult play to make. He being in the position that he's in, sure, maybe he could have wrong armed and got in there, and that's a fantastic play if he makes this tackle. But he needs some help on the backside there too. So I'm thinking here, if we go back and replay it.
Yep. So it's watch how all the linebackers just they go immediately.
Yeah. As
if they're going straight up the gut here. And I get it because it probably most likely thinking Breece is going to go straight up the gut there, but he just bounces it. And it's just a great play. Great blocking over here. Mm-hmm. Trey is your only guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they both went over there, both linebackers, but you'll see they're out of the play now. And it's Breece sees that
wide open.
Breece has great vision, and he's got a blocker right here. This is your only guy that can help you out. Bernard almost gets a finger on him.
Jordan Poyer just absolutely gets turned around. I hate to say it, but Jordan Poyer looked very old in this game. That pains me to say it too. It really does, because freaking love that guy.
Now I want to show you some, not everything's bad. Again, I've already showed you, I showed you the nice Torrance block. I want to show you the burst that James Cook had.
Now, I talked about this actually in the show I just did with Sean and Keith.
Some people were saying that he doesn't want to go and get contact, or he's not physical enough. But dude, he looked pretty good to me, and I love this burst right here. There's no doubt. I'm thinking he's getting a loss here.
Mm-hmm.
right? This is not looking good. He sees and he bounces and look, and I'm going to play at full speed here. Look at the
Right away, you're
quickness.
thinking this is a 4
Look
or
at
5
this.
yard loss.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
fantastic.
No offense to your boy Devin Singletary, but last year, if this run happens, he's not getting there.
Yeah.
And what
yeah,
Keith said too, nor is Damian Harris getting there either.
Yeah. So let's watch this. Like number 4 looks like he's going to clobber. He's going to clobber Cook right now, right? Cook sees it, bounces, and oh my goodness, beautiful.
Yeah, that was awesome.
By the way, one thing I didn't show you in that first one, there was another option other than Knox. So that first interception, if I played it back, you would have seen that. And let's see, just keep an eye on, we're at 1 minute 44. I'm going to go back real quick to that one because I did want you to see this. Let's see here. Where is it? That's the run. So this is right after the interception. Okay. Right here. And I think you can probably see it. Yeah, you can see it from this angle here. So I already talked about him having the possibility to take on Knox. Okay. There's only one guy. This is 3rd and 8. He could run. I mean, I thought he might run. The only guy that has a shot on him, I thought it was a linebacker, but it was 22, a cornerback.
That's what I'm saying. He definitely is steamrolling this defensive back all day.
Right?
Yeah.
So he could have made that decision. So he had a second option to go to. And at first I was like, when I first saw it live, I'm thinking that's a linebacker right there. I'll take Josh against that number 22. Who is 22, by the way, for them? Do you know?
I'm trying to think here.
Oh, we'll find that out. Not important.
Yeah, I got to look this up.
He's a corner. Yeah, take a look at that while I go forward here a little bit. So, yeah, so Josh actually had 2 options. He had Knox down here, and he had the ability to run. But he really liked something he saw. I don't know what he was seeing there, but he definitely liked something there. So let me go back here, go back to where we were. Who we got out there? Yeah, let's see here. Minute 44.
We got Brett coming in. We have ads now, he's saying. Nickel City Mafia has ads now.
Yeah,
they are monetized, so they may be, I'm not really aware of how they do it, but.
Yeah, they throw some ads in there.
Oh, that's Tony Adams, by the way. So he's actually their new strong safety.
All right. So I want to show you some more good plays. Josh Allen didn't play trash the whole game. This is Josh Allen doing some Josh Allen stuff right here. Let's watch this play right here. Bounces out. Steph Diggs. There you go. Beautiful. Steph Diggs. How about Steph Diggs? 10 catches for over 100 yards.
He's unbelievable.
And a touchdown.
Man. Yeah.
So here it is again.
So good.
Keep an eye on the O-line. Now, here's something weird that I saw. I know Anthony, who was on
look at the cut blocks.
They're both cutting them. Both tackles.
Of them. Yeah.
But the problem is Brown misses. Mm-hmm. He misses. So take it. But watch the recovery here. I think it's McGovern. So 47 is not able to affect it. Brown's on the ground and he's coming hard, but McGovern's out there and picks that up, cleans that up. No,
that's Osiris, Mike.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. If that's Osiris, let's roll back that. Let's roll back that a little bit. I thought I saw, and maybe I'm wrong there. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, you're right. Beautiful play. This is why the man scored so well. Look at that. Picks it up.
Geez.
That's what I loved about him in
the IQ. I'm so impressed by that. Like the IQ alone.
Yeah.
Being able to, he was even making calls at the line and stuff. Like he was so impressive to me this entire game. It was beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, the fact, even in preseason, we saw it all preseason. He's always looking to help. Where can I help?
Yeah.
Where can I help? Fantastic job right there. Josh throws and the beautiful pass to Diggs.
God, I'm thrilled. I am so happy with that pick. I mean, this game alone, so impressive. This is a tough test.
So here's one of those that really aren't. It's not the line. The line's doing a fantastic job. But
was this for Spencer Brown? Was he bull rushed on this one, and he kind of got? Or no? Okay,
no,
that's a different
not
play.
really. So Josh just trips on his own feet, but better angle coming up here. I'll show you this one right here. O-line does a very good job. And there's a little gap there. If Josh doesn't trip, right there.
Yeah, really.
Josh doesn't trip. Hello. Now, this guy makes a nice play. I think it's this guy, or well, let's see who it was who recovers. Yeah, so Josh tripping, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, if he stays on his feet, he probably gets through that hole. And then look out. Things happen. Big things happen.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Man.
Again, the O-line, I heard so many people just screaming about the O-line. Look, Spencer Brown, of all the linemen, probably had the worst game, which you'd expect. But it wasn't as bad as you think. Check out the film. Check out the film. Yes, there was a couple. Even Osiris got bull rush once and got pushed back to Josh Allen. But Spencer Brown, of course, made that big, false start in overtime. You never want to see that.
It's easy to scapegoat him too.
Yeah.
Just because it's been a tough preseason for him, and that's the first guy you want to point out when he makes a mistake. I mean, that's not bad.
Okay. So again, let's watch this from the other angle. This is again. Let me rewind this again. So this is the second interception. This one I have a problem with because you're at the 41-yard line. You're at the 41-yard line. Let me go back a little bit more. And
what do we got for down and distance?
We are second and 13 right here.
Okay.
Second and 13. Because Josh, remember, he had just fallen.
Yep, that's
lost
right. After that play.
Lost a couple yards. So second and 13, you're at the 41. Man, you could argue that Bass could probably hit that, but get 5 more, 6 more, and you're kicking a field goal at the very least. So let's take a look at who might have been open on this play, if anybody. All right. So right here, you got Cook, James Cook. Now, again, there's good coverage here. This guy's looking at him as well, keeping an eye on him. If Josh gets in the ball quickly, he probably gets about 3 or 4 yards, and now it's 3rd and 7, something like that. This play looked pretty well covered. Let's see here. Over here, let's see if that develops at all. No. So, again, though, the middle, you're going to see that, I think it was Quentin Morris. Quentin Morris coming straight up the gut here, forcing that throw. This might have been a shot right here. But again,
it's still risky. You got 2 linebackers there, so
exactly. So
and you got to know that safety is going to be going. This just doesn't.
Now look, Steph Diggs wants the ball. Steph Diggs is the type of player who could make a play in double coverage, right?
Yeah, and he tried.
So there's times that I've always said in the past, like last year, like throw it to Diggs. I don't care if he's doubled. Well, he was doubled.
Yeah.
But I do want you to see here. So there's a different angle. Now, Mitch has a problem here. Mitch just gets tossed to the side. Mm-hmm. Now, there was a play where Mitch, and I don't know if it was the play before this, but I saw Mitch kind of holding his hand, and maybe it was immediately after this that this play happened. But, Mitch, of course, that's a beast right there. I am curious why no one assisted on that, because if it's me, I got 2 guys on him every time.
So he's lined up over Connor McGovern. He's still looking.
Yeah. So McGovern, check this out. So why does McGovern, he looks at him, but he decides to go over here. And Dawkins had a great game.
Yeah.
Dawkins had a great game. This was Jermaine Johnson right here, who's also going to be a stud, his second-year guy. And he had a good game against the Bills. But Dawkins got him locked up. Don't worry about Dawkins. Worry about the big man here. Worry about the big man.
Inside.
Right. But he makes the decision to go the other way.
Yeah. Ugh.
So anyhow, by the way, McGovern had a good PFF grade for pass blocking, a little bit low on the run blocking. Although that one there, again, you don't blame him for that, but why the decision to go for Dawkins' side?
Right.
And again, you can't.
Yeah, you can't make that throw. No. I'm sorry.
You throw that away. If that's Aaron Rodgers or somebody else, they're probably throwing that away.
Right. You're either doing that or you're checking it down to James Cook, like
exactly.
we talked about.
So Cook would have got you 2 or 3 yards. Now you're in a 3rd and 8 instead of what happened here.
Right.
So let's see here. Which one's this? So this is another one of those.
Yeah.
I think this is where now I'm getting into the 3rd interception drive, but there were some good things that happened on this drive here. This one, obviously not. And again, that's Jermaine Johnson right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is a beautiful play. Right, this is Josh Allen magic, and this is Latavius Murray. Yep, this is the flip. Yeah. Fantastic. This is, I believe it's 3rd and 9 on this play.
Yeah. It's a huge, huge play.
And there it is. Just let's watch that again from this different angle.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, Sean, good point on that last play. They absolutely were daring Josh to run up the middle there. The Jets played that extremely well on that last play prior to this. They were baiting him to run forward. It wasn't necessarily on the O-line because the protection wasn't all that bad. It's just Josh running forward like that, thinking he had an open lane. That's what caused that to happen. The Jets baited him right into it. He took it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, but here you go. Beautiful play. I love Latavius Murray. I wish we would have saw more of.
I know. Yeah, way to come back from that.
Murray.
I mean, that's just magic right there. Yeah.
All right, so here's the interception.
Oh.
And
look at all the underneath stuff.
Yeah.
Who's that? Dawson Knox too out there?
Yeah, let me go back to where we are. I believe we're 3rd and 2 here. It's the 3rd and 2 play. Okay. And you got Diggs. Diggs is going to break open right there. There's Diggs. You throw that to Diggs, you got first down.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You got over here, you got Latavius Murray down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You could dump it to him.
We got the out route over there too.
And for some reason, you can see here, it's definitely 3rd and 2. You can see the marker up here. Again, 3rd and 2, man. And he picks this play here. And blame Gabe. I want to watch this a little bit. I want to show you. I mean, I'm no professional wide receiver, but I played a lot of kid football. And let me tell you something. I was pretty damn fast. And let me tell you something. So let me just show you, because this is like ridiculous to me. Gabe Davis. All right. Cut to the left. Give the guy a look like you're cutting inside. He doesn't do any of that. He just goes right to the outside.
Shimmy.
Dude, give me that. Give me that little cut in. Make him think, but he doesn't. And Josh is locked in on him for
God,
some
he's
reason.
gone if he's actually gone if he cuts inside too, realistically.
Yeah.
But that's not the route here.
Right. But you have options. You have him right there, Diggs, right there, 3rd and 2. You
got
this
the out
first
route
down.
too, even.
Take what the defense is giving you, get the first down, keep the play moving.
Yep. You got the out route right at the sticks there. Oh,
yep.
Golly, man.
And then I think, let me see here. No, this is just from the other angle. You're going to see Diggs right there.
Yep. Oh.
Just throw it to Diggs. You got your first down. So again, the O-line played really well. It really did. You're talking maybe, I'm going to say this. I'm not going to say generational defense. Did you see the Mannings? It was kind of funny. I think Eli, they're watching this, and he says, I think it was Reed who said the defense was generational, right? And the defense, and he asked Peyton, he goes, you played against those 85 Bears. Is this team generational? He goes, well, I think that was taken out of context a little bit. He kind of laughed about it.
That's good.
You ever watch this? The guys, I haven't watched them, but
I love watching the Manning-cast. I had it on. I actually didn't have the volume on for it. I had the broadcast with Troy Aikman and Joe Buck.
Gotcha.
On full volume, unfortunately. I typically do watch the Manning-cast only, though.
All right, so here's the fumble, the double fumble.
Yeah.
And this is just, again, Josh. This was a big one right here. This is just Josh taking his eyes off the ball, losing concentration. Now, the thing is, he recovers it. But unfortunately, his own man's going to hit him, as well as a few Jet players here, because Quentin Morris is coming over. He runs into Josh.
Yep.
And then he collides and fumbles the ball again. And then here we go, the game winner. You know, Sam Martin. Look, if Sam Martin gets a good punt here and we don't give up this touchdown, I have a lot of faith in our defense. They weren't really doing much against them, you know. And there was a tripping call that wasn't flagged. And let's keep an eye here. So, first of all, my man, Cam Lewis, of course, that's a hard tackle. You're one-on-one, and that guy makes a nice juke. But that's Cam Lewis right there. And then where's everyone else over pursuing here? Nobody over here.
Oh, he's got daylight.
Kind of looks like the Music City Miracle when I look at this right here, because there's no one on that side. So he's off and running. Now, Quentin Morris is going to get, this is right here. This should have been flagged because he lifts his leg up and he actually trips him. And who knows what could have happened? You know, people are saying, he was already in field goal range, because I think the penalty would have been spot foul.
15 yards.
Right from there. But you never know. You never know in the NFL what's going to happen. So I'm not going to say that cost us the game. There are other things, but you got to call it. You got to call it when it happens.
You know, the Bills find a way to lose in such epic fashion all the time. You know, when we do lose, I always feel like it really is, you know, especially for like primetime moments. It's always in epic fashion when we lose the games in primetime for whatever reason.
I want you to look at your guy, Slippery Sam Martin, because he looks like a beast here. Watch this tackle right here. Look at this. No, thank you. I don't want anything to do with you, man. What the hell is that?
Oh, yeah.
Release that, man. Jake, release him. I mean, come on. I want those punters that get in there and get physical.
You want a Pat McAfee out there. You don't want a freaking Sam Martin. Listen, I love Sam Martin. Got nothing but respect for him, but this is a tough look. This whole play for him was just awful.
Yeah. He was rock solid last year, but you picked the worst play to have a bad kick there. And of course, there it is. There's your ball game. So there you go. That's it on the film. Again, my assessments, watching the film. I sat with Sean last night for an hour.
He was telling me.
For an hour. We watched over the film. We got through an hour of it. I watched the rest of it today. I picked these things so that I can bring them up. But there was a lot of good in this game. This team, this Bills team, man, dude, I'm looking forward to them getting back on track. It's going to happen. And it took, I'm going to say it again, Jets fans, I'm sorry to say this. It took the worst game of Josh Allen's career for you guys to win that game. He doesn't have any of those last two turnovers. I give him the first one. Again, I'm not upset about the first one, right? I think we both can agree. It was 3rd and 8. It was better than a punt. Dude, he had him inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
That one you put on the defense all day long. So anyhow, that's our film. Let me catch up with the channel here. Hope you enjoyed that. It's always
I love this comment by Keith, by the way.
Yes.
Guy was the greatest player for the Bills during the drought era. Give him some respect. He absolutely would have made that tackle. You ain't kidding. Talk about a gritty punter. This man got absolutely walloped by Sean Taylor in the Pro Bowl. Back when the Pro Bowl really was played, you know?
So let me catch up with everybody. First of all, Keith, thank you for being out there. Yeah, I was kind of controlling the film here. I wasn't able to see the comments. So thank you for all of you for being out there. I hope you enjoyed that film segment. And Nickel City Mafia has ads. We are monetized, so there are ads. Did you get an ad for a live? Usually it's on a replay.
Yeah, that's weird.
So I'd be surprised. But yes, it wouldn't surprise me. Google's looking to throw in those ads, and why not? Why not on Nickel City Mafia? And why not with that backdrop? Yes, he says, Mike.
Beautiful backdrop.
By the way, your backdrop looks like a cigar bar. Absolutely love it. Yeah,
yes, it does.
Elevating that backdrop. Love it. And see here, Keith says, yeah, Mike, absolutely. You can't even count on Osiris to block Williams one-on-one all game. Yep. And what's up, Red, White, and Bills? By the way, catch Red, White, and Bills. He actually put a video out today. He actually went deep into the film, 2 hours worth of film. You want to check that out. And I know he's probably going to, I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if you have plans, Sean, for Red, White, and Ruthless on Saturday, because we are getting into the Raiders. We're going to talk about that game here in a little bit. But he did a fantastic job, film breakdown, and check it out. It goes into detail. What else we got
also
here?
just filmed a really cool show on Red, White, and Bills. He's doing these a new show concept, if you will, and it's a debate show. And Keith and I had the opportunity to be on the very first installment of that, and I thought it was fantastic. It was a lot of fun, Sean. So thanks for having us on again, man. It was freaking blast.
Yeah, awesome. So, Jake, I don't know about you, buddy. I'm excited for this team. Again, overreactions happen, but when you look at it closely, this team is for real. This team's going to be back, and don't be surprised when they run the board.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I'm optimistic. Honestly, if there was a sense of doubt, it was probably immediately following this game when I had a couple glasses of bourbon in me. You know, now after having a chance to really dissect a little bit and to take it all in, I think you realize that this team isn't in as bad a shape as we thought they are.
Not
you know,
even
it's
close.
mainly not even close. Not even in bad shape, period.
Yes.
Our team is, for the most part, healthy. I know Micah Hyde left late in the game with some cramps, but I don't think there were really any injuries either that occurred. I know Jordan Phillips left and came back in the game too. So, yeah, I mean, we're ready to take it to the Raiders this week, Mike. I think this will be a good couple of games coming up here to get Josh Allen's confidence back up. So, hell yeah.
Let's go. We got Raider fan out there. See what Raider
I love it.
Did the Buffalo Bills have a bad preseason? No.
You know what? I think that first preseason game where the starters played, against the Steelers, it was pretty rough, and we looked totally unprepared. So that was the second preseason game of the year. So then you go into that last game against the Bears. We looked pretty sharp, and I think everyone felt pretty good going into the season. Getting ready to prove all these Jets fans wrong and show them that they aren't Super Bowl contenders, which I'm not really sure if they are right now, anyways. But tough first loss, but I think we're ready to move onwards here and get a nice victory against the Las Vegas Raiders.
I always forget to say it, but if you're new to the channel, please like, comment, and drop a nickel on that subscribe button. All fan bases welcome here, and we love the interaction. So thanks for joining us there, Raider fan.
Hell yeah.
Good luck, fellas. The Raiders pass rush is a big worry. I think Allen will exploit that. So let's talk about that a little bit. Big news, Chandler Jones. What's going on there, buddy?
Yeah, he's been posting some cryptic tweets, then I think he deleted his Twitter, and I'm not sure if it's personal issues or what's really happening there. I don't think it's actually injury related at all.
Oh.
So yeah, definitely a little bit of a concern. Hopefully everything's okay there, but yeah, absolutely. They do have Max Crosby, and he's one of the best defensive ends in football right now. I know you're saying that we'll be able to exploit that pass rush. I hope that is the case. Looking at their team, they got Jerry Tillery too as their other D tackle, and Bilal Nichols as well as another D tackle there. And then, of course, they have Tyree Wilson, the first round pick for Texas Tech, who is now essentially replacing Chandler Jones. So they have some nice players on that D line. It's nothing to overlook by any means. And, it's all led by that man up front there, 98, Max Crosby, man. He's an absolute dog.
Yeah. So apparently Chandler Jones could not get into the facility, the gym, and he even called his head coach, couldn't get in there. And I don't know what transpired there, but it just set him off. All the social media stuff's been deleted, but I'm sure some folks have captured it. I haven't been able to read anything, but it just seems like something so simple, but there's obviously more to that, right? You're not going to go off just because you can't get access to the gym. There was a reason he couldn't get access.
A little deeper than that.
Unless more deeper than that. So that's a huge loss right away if he's not playing. I know he didn't play in week 1, and he's most likely not going to play based on what I've been reading. So that's a big loss there. Let's see here. Josh Jacobs, I think you mentioned him. They have a good running game as well. So if you're concerned about the running game of the Jets, Josh Jacobs didn't have a great game against Denver. I think he rushed for 48 carries, 19 carries, 48 yards.
Yep.
But last year he was one of the top running backs. And so I'm sure the Raiders have looked at film. They've looked at film from last year, looked at film from the first game, and they're like, we can exploit them a little bit in the run game. And so it'll be interesting to see there, because that has been where people have been able to take advantage of us in years past, Jake.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that, especially the home run hitting runs right up the middle. We saw it this first game of the year, with Breece Hall. So you give them just a little bit of an opening there. It seems like it all kind of goes downhill for the Bills. So obviously look to fix that. And I will say this, in terms of what their offensive line looks like, they got some really young players on that O-line. One of them who I really actually liked was Dylan Parham, their left guard. I think he's really coming along, and been very impressed with his play. Obviously you got Colton Miller at the left tackle position. Greg Van Roten, who we're very familiar with, I believe is actually starting at the right guard position for them. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah. So that'll be very interesting to see. I think their offensive line is actually a little weaker than the Jets. So that's also encouraging, just seeing how our D-line got after it last week. So I think Jimmy G is going to be on the ground a few times on Sunday. I could definitely see that happening.
Well, speaking of Jimmy G, so they go out and sign Jimmy G for a nice chunk of change. And Jimmy G, as I said, to start the show, maybe the best looking man in football. And if you're a confident man. You can say that. You can say
of
that,
course.
right? And Jimmy G does nothing but win football games when he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, he's got a 71% winning percentage. 71% winning percentage. That's pretty
impressive.
damn impressive. He's 53.
And he does have 2 Super Bowl rings, but he wasn't the starter.
Yeah. He's 53-21 in his career. So when he's healthy, which has been a big question mark, the guy just can't stay healthy. I mean, the most he's played, let's see here. He played 10 games, actually 11 games last year, 15 in 2021. That was probably his best year. And then actually in 2019, he did play 16 games.
That was his last full season.
Yeah, that was his last full season. But prior to that, and although after that, and then the following year, he played only 6 games. So Jimmy G, out with Derek Carr, in with Jimmy G. What do you think between the two? Compare the two.
I think you're going to see a lot more cautious play with Jimmy G. He's not going to throw it up and chuck it up and give his guys these 50-50 balls that you probably saw a lot with Derek Carr. Not sure if he has the same rapport that Derek Carr had with Davante Adams either. Obviously, Derek Carr and Davante Adams, they went to the same college together, and then they played a year with the Raiders together. But the underneath stuff, and this is why I think Josh McDaniels wanted him so bad. He sort of groomed him in that system of utilizing the slot receiver. And, we saw that last week with Jacoby Myers, who caught 9 passes for, I think it was 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. Had a really nice game. So they are very, with him, it's all about the timing throws. He definitely that's been probably his best attribute. Doesn't necessarily have the arm strength that a lot of these other quarterbacks have, but he's very good with his timing routes. And he's a guy that just finds a way to win. It doesn't always look the prettiest, but he definitely, he's proven it year by year. I know he hasn't won a Super Bowl as the starting quarterback, but he's been around a winning culture, and he is part of the reason for that.
Yeah, you're not going to win that many games. The thing with him, he's not flashy, but he's efficient. He's efficient, and he doesn't make silly mistakes, and he keeps his team in the game. And then he lets he lets the defense keeps him in the game. He doesn't make those mistakes like we saw Monday night from our guy Josh, but he doesn't make the Superman plays like Josh Allen can do as well at times. Keith, I don't know. You're telling me your fiance is telling you that Tua is the most handsome man in football? First of all, she should be saying you're the most handsome man.
Yeah, what the heck? Come on,
you're the most handsome man. But I get it. She's saying in football. Is that true, Keith? Come on.
Keith is technically in football as well. If you think about it, he talks about it.
Exactly. So that should be Keith all night long. And then, like I said, Jimmy G, come on, man.
Yeah, Jimmy G is a pretty damn good-looking dude, and listen, he may get me to sway the other way if I look at him long enough. Just saying.
I don't like when he comes on the screen, and like my wife doesn't watch football. We're watching football.
Yeah, what the heck?
And they show a picture of him, and like she stops, dead stop, and like, whoa, who's this guy?
Who's that good-looking
guy? Let me tell you something though about my wife. She actually thinks Sean McDermott is a good-looking man.
Really?
Yes.
Sean's got the bald head. He owns it, and he's in good shape. And he's, 40, 50 years old now, I think? Still looks great.
Yeah, she told me, who's that? He's a good-looking guy. I'm like, that's our coach.
Got a little red tint, too, in the beard. Not bad.
My wife likes an older man. She married me. I'm a little older than her, and she likes Sean McDermott.
Yeah, I love it.
He says, pretty sure she'll leave me for Tua. That's pretty funny.
Tua is a good-looking dude. No disrespect to him. He's got that nice... He's got the complexion. It's freaking beautiful, man. Now he's got a full sleeve tattoo. So I don't know if that's what's, throwing her for a loop too. But yeah, he is a good looking guy. No disrespect to Tua. I'm just saying Jimmy G is
built this year too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the big pickups for them this year in the offseason was Jimmy G. Obviously, they paid him 3 years, $72.7 million, and guaranteed $45 million was guaranteed of that. They also brought in Jacoby Myers from New England for 3 years for $33 million and $21 million guaranteed. And then Marcus Epps, safety from Philadelphia, that brought him in $12 million for 2 years and guaranteed $10.3 million of that. And let's see, who else did they bring in?
Marcus Peters was a late signing for them as well. He's their starting corner, one of their starting corners. So that's another name to pay attention to.
Robert Spillane.
Yep, Robert Spillane from the Steelers.
From the Steelers.
Linebacker.
And then who did you say was the name of the corner that you mentioned?
Oh, Marcus Peters. He was a
Okay.
late signing in the preseason, actually. I think it was right before the preseason actually started, they signed him. Yeah, curious to see what happens with Jakobi Meyers, because he was on the receiving end of a pretty brutal hit against the Broncos last week there. So I'm hoping, I think I don't know if he's officially been ruled out, but I'm assuming he probably won't play, because it was vicious, man. And he was concussed and did not look good. They had to take him off, and scary moment for sure. And actually, it looks like he might be out, according to NM Raider fan here.
Yeah, so Myers was their second round tight end, another very good tight end that I thought. I mean, he was projected.
Oh, is he saying Michael Meyer?
Yeah,
Michael Mayer.
Mayer. Yeah, I think so. That's what he's talking about.
Or is he talking Jakobi Meyers? Because no, it looks like he's talking about Jakobi Meyers here.
He?
Because so last game, like he was on the receiving end of a vicious hit. It was kind of uncalled for, to be honest. It was right to the head, and it was tough to watch.
Okay.
And he was having a really nice day too. So if he is out, I mean, he looked like he had some really good chemistry with Jimmy G. Obviously, wish the best for him, but
yeah,
I'll be pretty surprised if he plays too, to be honest. But yeah, that would mean Hunter Renfrow would have to come in and pick up the slack. And Hunter Renfrow is dangerous. I've actually been, really pulling for the Bills to go get a guy like that to be like our replacement for Cole Beasley. But now seeing the weapons we have, I think I'm pretty confident with it. Hunter Renfrow coming off a tough injury last year, but the year before, fantasy sleeper, over 1,000 yards receiving, went to the Pro Bowl, did a lot of great things for this offense. So he can do it. And I still got a lot of faith in him. And that's definitely someone not to sleep on whatsoever. His pivot route is one of the meanest in the game. Yeah,
they actually signed a couple Bills players. They got Greg Van Roten, who you mentioned, and Jaquan Johnson.
Yeah.
Safety.
Yep. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Young man. So brought him over for 1 year, $1.2 million. Only 431,000 guaranteed of that. But Topper says, guys, this feels like it's going to be one of those big games for Josh and Gabe and Dalton Kincaid. Dude, this is going to be a big game. If fire them up. If you got these guys in your fantasy league, if you're going against them, just forfeit the game. Just wave the white flag, right? Just wave the white flag if you're going against somebody with Josh, any Bills player this week.
Yeah. I love it.
Poor Keith, he doesn't have any AFC, so hopefully he's not playing against any of the guys against the Bills, because he doesn't draft any of them.
Right. I'll tell you what, I definitely foresee Dalton Kincaid having his breakout game this Sunday. I think we could take advantage of these linebackers. Robert Spillane, very good pass rushing linebacker. They also have Divine Diablo. As one of their other linebackers, one of the best names in football. But I think the tight ends are going to have a nice day on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree there. I'm just looking at their lineup right now. Defensive line, dude, other than Crosby's stellar, obviously. And he's going to be going against Spencer Brown. So Spencer Brown going to be getting a good dose of Crosby. So Torrance is there. Torrance will help him out. But the rest of their interior, oh my goodness.
Jerry Tillery is a good player. He's underrated. He's a veteran. He's been around for a little bit. I mean, the others aren't scaring me a ton. John Jenkins is there. Byron Young, who they drafted this year in the 3rd round, who I actually really do like. I think he's a pretty good young player that might come along and eventually take over that starting spot at D tackle in the right D tackle position. But I mean, it's a young defense paired with like some veteran guys. It's kind of weird because you have Marcus Peters, Chandler Jones, who I know is not playing, but it's a very unique situation there in Las Vegas. And I had them going 3-14, and I'm sure that's pretty disrespectful and probably super unlikely. I was pretty impressed with actually how they played in that first game against Denver. I think they did a lot of good things, and the offense looked good. The defense is very suspect, I think, still, and there's a lot of holes there, and the Bills can definitely take advantage of it.
What do you know about their linebacker Diablo? Because he looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, no, he's
a 3rd rounder in 2021.
2021. Yeah, he like I said, it's the best name in football. He's a Vod Tech kid, 6'3", I think 220-ish. I think he's definitely someone that's developing. He's an up-and-comer, and, I like the kid a lot. You got him paired right now with Robert Spillane. They run basically a nickel defense as well, very big into the zone scheme and whatnot. I think he fits pretty well in that defense. But I feel like our tight ends are just better. I think we're going to fully take advantage of both those linebackers and expose them.
Yeah, I mean they got what is it? Austin Cooper? Who do they got on tight end? Let's see here.
Austin Hooper.
Austin Hooper.
And then Michael Mayer too, who they drafted in the first round. Who I think he actually. That's a guy that had first round potential, ends up going in the second round, 35th overall, basically the first round anyways. But yeah, I mean, that they got the other guy. If it wasn't Dalton Kincaid, it was probably going to be him. So, it was, battle of the tight ends this week, maybe, Mike. We'll see.
Yeah. So, Raider fan, where are you from, man? Are you out here in Vegas? Where are you at, man? And
this is NM Raider fan. Are you from New Mexico?
New Mexico
maybe?
Raider
fan,
maybe? Yeah. Yeah. Let us know.
We appreciate you joining, though.
Yeah, we definitely do. And then Brett comes in. Mike's in last place in the football league. Yeah,
I didn't mean to hand you a tough loss like that, Mike. Well, I won by like 100.
Hey, no excuses, but listen, I forgot completely. I didn't even set a full lineup, and I blame Brett. He's supposed to remind me, but he did this week, so I have nobody else to blame.
That's tough.
And then he says, Diablo balled out. He's much improved. And again, great name, Diablo. Oh boy,
yeah, he's got one of the best names in football. There's no doubt.
Then we got here from Topper coming in with Kincaid was 1 yard away in a prop bet for me winning. Oh, Josh screwed me big time on that.
I'm sorry, man. That sucks. What a bummer. 1 yard away. Brutal.
You would have thought easily.
And you know what's sad is that one play that we highlighted, he was wide open on the out route.
Yep.
And it could have been it. And that would have been a first down for the Bills and not an interception. Unbelievable.
Awesome. He's from New Mexico. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. So I think him and Trek Reviewer are both from New Mexico, if I'm right. Pretty cool.
Are you Trek Reviewer? Are you still there with us?
I want to say he said something about New Mexico the one time, but I might be wrong on that.
Waffle House is calling me. What do you mean?
Oh, so Brett put this in our chat. He put this in the chat and he said, what should the last place punishment be?
Oh.
And the top response was spending 24 hours at a Waffle House. So that's...
Oh man, I would have fun. I would go live. I'd go live on YouTube and just, talk about my experience at the Waffle House and why I'm there and why I just failed at fantasy football this year because I'm too busy. I'm too busy bringing you guys these shows. So, Raider fan, are we worried about Josh Allen? I'll let you start and then I'll respond to it as well.
No, I think, I think I'm worried more so about him. There's a difference between throwing interceptions when you're giving your guy like a 50-50 ball, or it's essentially a field position thing where you would have maybe punted anyways. I think that the part that I am worried about is when he really just forces it for no reason whatsoever because he gets that sugar high and it's like reverting back to his rookie year almost. Like that is the biggest concern that I have. But also, I think Keith actually said this in our show with Sean prior to this, Mike, and he worded it really well. He's like, you don't want to take the gunslinger mentality out of Josh. It's just correcting the small things and taking what the defense gives him instead of forcing just a boneheaded throw for no reason when there's triple coverage. I think that's really the piece that he needs to hone in on. And maybe that's a little on Ken Dorsey to get into his ear and say, hey, listen, just take what the defense gives you, even if he has to repeat it. And he shouldn't really have to, because we're in year 6 now. Like, you shouldn't have to have your OC pulling the reins on your starting MVP quarterback, right? That shouldn't be happening. So there's a level of concern, definitely. And I think people were thinking after this game, like, is Josh ever going to be, in the same category as like Pat Mahomes? Because basically Pat Mahomes had to do the same thing last year. When they lost Tyreek Hill, he had to rely on, the underneath stuff, the taking what the defense gives you. And of course he has Travis Kelce, but outside of that, I mean, we have Steph Diggs, right? So I think, I don't know if it's necessarily like a pride thing or like something that he feels like he has to put points on the board every time he goes out there. But that's the part of his game that he really needs to hone in on and focus on and just take care of the football. Like, don't make stupid decisions. And when you need to be a game manager at times, just be a game manager. You don't have to be this all-world QB 24/7.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my answer. It's a tough position to be in, and it's kind of a hard answer to give, but that's kind of where I'm at with everything.
Yeah, I fully agree with what you guys said about not taking the ball slinger away from him. I mean, you've said it many times. Brett Favre, very much like Brett Favre.
Yeah.
And the only thing I wish would be it's okay to throw it away. It's okay. I mean, how many times have we seen Mahomes? Mahomes like says, "All right, this ain't happening. I'm throwing it away quickly." He just throws it at a guy's foot, at a guy's feet. Do that more.
Yeah.
But I'm not so worried. Again, I don't know what it was Monday night. Again, he has in the last few games, probably the last 4 games, little regression maybe, but a lot happened last year. So I'm going to toss that out. Going this year, again, I talk about it. Burrow had a horrible game this week. Mahomes was okay. Can't blame too much on Mahomes because, he's missing Kelsey. It'd be like Josh without, if we didn't have Diggs, imagine no Diggs, right? 10 catches for 100. It would have been a struggle. But guys have a bad game. I love what Josh can do. We know what he can do. And again, he just has to, like you said, Jake, they have to talk to him. They really have to talk to him. But it's hard, dude. If you're so used to that style of game and you always want to make a play, it's hard to change old habits, man. It is hard. Look at Brett Favre. Never changed that habit whatsoever.
Right.
And that could be okay. Brett Favre brought home a Super Bowl.
And it's way more good than bad. It's way more good than bad. I think when it starts becoming more bad than good, which it was Monday. I definitely think there was more bad than good just because it did alter the game. But if that becomes a consistent thing and a regular thing, then I think you hit the panic button. But right now, not just yet.
I like this from Topper. I think it's time for Dorsey to get out of the box and move down to the sidelines. Yeah, get it. Yeah. Sit on that bench with him. Sit on that bench. Go talk to him.
That's what Dable did.
Yeah, do it.
He was right there the whole time.
Absolutely love that, Topper. Great call there. And then for you guys saying no excuses, look, I spotted you a game. That was my real player. I spotted you guys a game. I'm bringing it. It's over. What else we got here?
That's hilarious.
Let's see. Anybody else about this? All right, what is this?
Oh, did you see this too? If Anthony loses, hilarious.
Oh, if Anthony loses, he has to panhandle for an entire weekend, and all the money he makes goes to the first place winner.
Where's Anthony from, by the way? Where's he living?
Oh, gosh, he told us. I forget right now. I forget. So anyhow, back to this game. Look, they were 6-11 last year, the Raiders. I think bringing in a wide receiver 2, again, you guys said he's hurt. If he's hurt, that's a big deal. But they bring in a wide receiver 2. They bring in Jimmy G. The guy wins if he stays healthy. He'll keep the team in it. Their defensive front line, the front line dude is just going to be exposed. And I think big bounce back week. I hate to say it. I don't want to disrespect the Raiders. Any given Sunday, heck, we lost to the Jaguars a few years back, 9-6. Didn't even score a touchdown when we thought we were going to destroy them. And that was before they were the Jaguars of now.
One of Urban Meyer's only wins that year. Unbelievable.
But, man, there's a lot to prove coming off that loss. And I just, the Raiders are coming in at the wrong time. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I think the whole team feels it. I think Sean McDermott was like in a bit of shock himself that we lost that game against the Jets. And you hit the nail on the head, Mike. It took everything from the Jets to win it, first off. And no disrespect to them because they won it fair and square, and they played hard. I mean, they had to rally around Zach Wilson, which is not an easy thing to do. And they did enough, and they studied the course, and shoot, they baited Josh into doing a lot of stupid things. And that defense is one of the most elite there is. So, I think they do have obviously a good team and a much better defense than we're going to be going up against this week. So you saw what we did against the Jets, and there were still some good things sprinkled in there.
Mm-hmm. Against
the Raiders, this is where I think Josh is going to regain some confidence. And I feel very comfortable saying that. Now, if he regresses again, maybe then we hit the panic button. But I think it's going to be a totally different game come Sunday.
Let me ask you, what's your thoughts on McDermott? So we were all like, what type of what are we going to see on that defense?
Yeah.
And what did you see? And what's your thoughts on his first outing being the defensive coordinator?
I liked, it wasn't like too over the top different, but he ran a lot more stunts. You saw some of those DBs coming off the edge and blitzing a little bit too, and then guys going up the middle and blitzing. So there was a little bit of that sprinkled in too, which was great. I mean, we really limited the Jets to 16 points. That special teams that's on the special teams, right? So I thought, the defensive line, they were getting after Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers all day. Sure, there was a couple gaps at times, like in the run game, but, they still, even so, like, it didn't end up in a touchdown. It usually ended up in a field goal. I mean, the only touchdown that they scored was the punt return, obviously, but the Garrett Wilson touchdown, which was that was a ridiculous catch by him. I mean, couldn't really cover it much better than what Trey White did. It just was a freak play by Garrett Wilson. So I was pretty happy with it for the most part.
Yeah, that was a nice drive by the Jets to expect to shut down Zach Wilson. Look, Zach Wilson, he's got a gun, man. He's got a gun, and he's got some great weapons. And Lazard showed up on that drive. Garrett Wilson showed up on that drive. And that was a big drive for them to get that touchdown. But yeah, the Bills defense, I liked what I saw. Obviously, I felt they were manhandling the Jets O-line.
Oh, yeah.
Now, on the run, a little bit different. But when it was a passing down, my goodness. And for those that say if Rodgers was in this game, who knows if Rodgers would have made it through the game, because he's not as mobile as Zach Wilson, man. Dude was scrammed. He took a hit from Milano, like he was down, he was falling down, and Milano, do you remember that hit?
Yeah,
he basically hit him, and thank God Milano hit him with the shoulder pad. But I thought for a second, like, oh my God, he's gonna break Zach Wilson in half with that hit.
How about Matt Milano? He is so damn
Matt Milano.
good.
Oh
Holy
my God.
cow,
he is so good. Exactly,
unreal.
Who we got out there? I mean, I see some folks watching. Again, if you're new to the channel, please like, comment, drop a nickel on that subscribe button. Let us know who you are. Let us know where you're from. We love all fan bases. We love interacting. That's what makes it fun. Topper, I don't know about you guys, but I've had enough of Spencer Brown. Put in the vet Ifedi. Your thoughts there, buddy?
I was really surprised that he was just ruled inactive for the first game. I don't think that'll be the case moving forward here. And we talked about this earlier on. I don't think the offensive line had as bad of a day as a lot of people say they did. In fact, I think there were a lot of really good things, especially O'Cyrus Torrence. Now, out of the five guys, absolutely, Spencer Brown had by far the worst game. This will be a good test for him. Again, I think he's, to start off this season, these first four games, really, the defensive lines that we're playing, there are some absolute studs on those as far as the defensive ends go. You talk about last week, we have the Jets. They have just a rotational thing going with their edge rushers. This week we got Max Crosby and whatchamacallit, Tyree Wilson. And then next week after that, we got the Commanders. That's a really good defensive line too. You got some really good edges, obviously Chase Young and Montez Sweat and a couple other guys there. And then the week after that, you got the Dolphins. So I think after 4 games, we'll really know who our right tackle is going to be for the remainder of the year. And, I'm with you, Topper. I think if he does some things that are just, obviously hurting our team too much, it is time to make the switch to Germain Ifedi. I don't think Germain Ifedi should be inactive again moving forward. I'm definitely with you on that part.
Got Christopher Roseborough coming and saying, "Go Bills." First time I'm seeing you, Christopher. I think.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that name before, but thanks
for joining us. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Go Bills.
Excuse me. Oh, you're gonna have to talk. Something got
okay. I'll yeah. No, I think you talk about Spencer Brown. He's definitely been the biggest liability. In the preseason, he didn't help himself at all. So he already had basically the thought process from the entire fan base. And I think a lot of, I don't know about the coaching staff, but I think just in general, people got the vibe that he was on his last leg. The Bills were going to start him off. They were going to rally around him and hope that he played better. And did I really see that last week against the Jets? Not really. Not really. I mean, he had a tough penalty. He got bull rushed the one time. He got basically manhandled. But I also don't think he had as bad of a day as a lot of people were so quick to point out. So I'm ready to give him another shot here against the Raiders. But like I said, you gotta have Germain Ifedi on standby because it's only a matter of time if things go south.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted to ask you about Christian Kirksey. Now,
Yeah.
do you elevate him? And did Bernard do enough where you're good with Bernard? I feel like, yeah, I'm ready to keep rolling with Bernard, but I would like to have Kirksey elevated in the
Yes.
event. We know that Bernard's been injury prone. He had some injury in college. He also struggled. I don't know. Did he get injured last year? I know he did this year before the preseason games.
He was.
But
Yeah, he was. I think it was a
Yeah.
hamstring last year too. I
yeah,
wanna
so
say.
same thing.
Or it was an
So
arm. One of the two.
if something happens again, I don't want to see Dotson coming in. I want Kirksey coming in. So
And that's just it. It's your depth behind it. Like I would no disrespect to Tyrell Dotson, but I think I've seen enough. I'm ready to have Christian Kirksey be that guy, the guy that we can lean on. And you're going to get consistency with him. Not necessarily like this all-world guy in coverage, but I think in terms of where he is, running sideline to sideline and being in the right place at the right time, he's a perfect man for the job. And, I actually thought we were going to go ahead and start him over Terrell Bernard, but they had faith in Terrell Bernard. I think we saw some good things from him in week 1. And, I would definitely have Christian Kirksey active, but keep rolling with the hot hand with Terrell Bernard. Not saying it was a hot hand, but I think you're going to roll with him again.
Yeah, Bernard did a decent job, but Kirksey will make sure everyone lined up correctly. I did feel like Bernard did a pretty good job there. He looked confident, making sure people were doing what they were supposed to. But Kirksey just brings that experience. And if you watched any of his film from last year, I'm like, oh my goodness.
He looked sharp. Still looked good.
He really did. So again, elevate him. Let's start there at least. And let's see how it goes again with Bernard. Again, I'm not overlooking the Raiders. But I think you got to give Bernard more playtime, because it's a second-year guy. Let's see what we got in him. And I don't think was Dorian Williams. Was he active?
He was active. Yeah, I think he was just playing specials though. He wasn't doing much else.
Gotcha.
Wasn't really on the field for defensive snaps at all.
All right, so Jake, we're kind of covered everything we wanted to cover. I do want to ask you. Basically after 48 hours.
Yeah.
And is there anything else you want to mention? But for me, I am super excited. Let's go. I can't tell you how comfortable I am. Yes, it hit hard. We all overreacted. We really did. But you got to watch the film. Take it from him. First of all, give me your prediction for the game coming up for the Raiders. I want that old Jake back. I want that Jake that used to script out the game.
I'll script it out.
I don't want the Jake that just gives me a score. You used to give me like Josh Allen's going to throw for this scenarios. Much. Give me some of those. I
hope you're ready because I'm coming in hot with this one, Mike.
So let's go.
So I'm going to the game on Sunday. So first off, I'm going to tell you how my day's going to go. All right. I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. So I'm going with my brother-in-law, my mother-in-law, and her friend, which is hilarious. It's a great crew. But I'm telling them to meet at the house around 8 o'clock, which I think is probably still late to start the day, especially for a tailgate. Usually tailgates start for the Bills days in advance. So we're a little late to the game, but it's all right. We have a party the night before. We're going to be getting after it a little bit. So figure 8 o'clock, that's a reasonable time, right? So we're going to get up. My house is 7 minutes from the stadium. And at about 8, the traffic isn't as bad. So we can get there in one piece and not have to wait, however many hours in traffic. So I'm driving right to my office, which, Mike, we're right down the street from the stadium. May or may not have a hibachi guy there doing some hibachi and cooking some stuff up. So that's still to be determined. But nonetheless, the drinks are going to be flowing so easily, and it's going to be a beautiful day. Weather looks pretty good so far. I don't think there's any rain or anything like that in the forecast. Actually, let me check right now. Let me give you the most up-to-date. I have it right here on my weather app. And I don't think this is really going to change my prediction whatsoever. But yeah, looking at it right now, only a 24% chance of rain, sunny with some clouds and 70 degrees. You can't beat that. That's a beautiful, beautiful September day of football. So I anticipate we will win the tailgate as always. Might go see Pinto Ron, get some ketchup and mustard squirted on him. We're going to head into the stadium, try to catch a little bit of warm-ups, and then we're going to be safe and sound in our seats, right? Guys are going to come out of the tunnel. That crowd is going to be rocking. That stadium, you'll probably hear the decibels or you'll hear the crowd noise. You can probably hear it from my house now, actually, where I'm living. Nice. And it's just going to be an electric atmosphere. I am so excited for it. I think to start the game off, we're going to see a couple of we might get gashed a little bit. I think the Raiders are going to start with the ball. Josh Jacobs going to go up the middle a little bit, and he's going to look good, and the Raiders are going to have some glimpse of hope, and then there's going to be an interception on that drive, and it's going to turn things all around. Guess who's going to get that interception, by the way, Mike? Christian Benford.
Yes.
And then on that very first drive, we're going to go down the field. We're going to – I think we're going to do some underneath stuff. Dalton Kincaid going to get a couple catches. Dawson Knox maybe a couple catches. Touchdown to Steph Diggs to set the tone and to let them know that we mean business. Following that, I think it's just going to be an absolute bloodbath, to be honest with you. I feel like the Bills they're going to just ride that momentum. They're going to have the crowd behind them all day. And no disrespect to the Raiders. I think the Raiders, they're going to play us as tough as they possibly can, but they're just going to run out of gas. Going into half, I see it being like maybe a 17-3 game at half. So we're going to be feeling pretty good. But it's not going to be that eerie feeling we had last week heading into overtime, feeling like maybe, it's going to be a repeat from last year. No, not at all. Not at all, because we didn't even play the Raiders last year. So going into the second half, that's when we're just going to take over. I could see Gabe Davis actually scoring a touchdown in this one as well. So I'm going to give him one as well. And then James Cook is going to take over in the fourth quarter, Mike. And he's going to gash him. There's going to be a long run for a touchdown.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And I'm thinking I see one field goal happening, but I think it's going to be I see two field goals happening. So I'm going to say 34-13 Bills, my final prediction.
All right, so you answered Raider fans' question. You guys like Buffalo to cover the 9.5.
Oh, absolutely. Love them to cover.
All right, I'll give you my prediction here in a little bit here. I want to go to the channel. Got some more questions coming in and some statements. Big Al, good to see you out there, sir. 35-10. He has a big whooping going on there. And Raider fan says, I hope not. Here we go. Jake, and I know the answer to
I
this,
love
but
this.
Serious question. Have you had anyone mix you up with Josh Allen yet out in public?
I have a good story for you. I haven't told you this one yet.
Uh-oh.
I was wearing this exact hoodie thing. I went to 7-Eleven the one day, and I had a hat on. And usually, I think I actually look – I'm not saying I look like Josh Allen. This is all that I've been told.
With the hat, you do even more.
It's giving me a big head for sure. I was wearing a hat. And I'm out at 7-Eleven, and I'm just picking some stuff up. I'm actually picking up beers. And I walk in, and there's like this 10-year-old kid, and he's whispering to someone that he's with. He's like, that's Josh Allen. So I sucked in the chest a little bit, and I was making sure I was standing upright, stood on my tiptoes. And I walked to the back, grab my beer, walked past him again. And I heard him whisper again. I'm like, wow, this is wild. I can't even imagine how Josh feels in public because he must have this going on nonstop. So yeah, no, I actually, to answer your question, I have been called that. I have had people come up to me and say it, and gosh, it's given me a monster head, and my wife doesn't see it at all whatsoever. But I think the biggest thing was when I asked Andre Reed on her show, I said, hey, Andre, I've been told from time to time that I look like Josh Allen, and I think I'm a Walmart version at best. I really do. I'm not trying to disgrace that man behind me there. I don't think, listen, I'm like 6 feet tall, maybe 230 right now. And I got a good dad bod going, but I know Josh is a little thicker too. But yes, to answer your question again, yes, I have been called that, and I have been told that I look like him, and I appreciate the hell out of you for bringing that back up again.
Josh Allen had a kind of a new hairdo. It looked good.
I was trying to grow it out. I got to grow out the floor.
Yeah, you got to grow out a little bit more now. You got to stay with them, man. Stay with them.
Oh yeah.
Maybe even dye it a little bit. Just take it a little darker.
I know it's a little light, Actually, it kind of looks gray in the light here. It's not gray, I swear. There might be some grays in the beard coming in, but yeah.
So even the Raider fan says, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. He says, oh, wow, I can see it. Yeah. You don't know how many times I've called Jake Josh. I mean, it started probably a couple months after you joined me on the show. And I think it was Rick. Rick was the first one to say it. He called you Josh. Like you weren't on the show, but he was talking about you because he just seen you for the first time on one of the shows. And he goes, Josh. And he goes, oh my God, he looks like Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And from that point on, I'm like, oh my God, yes, it absolutely does. I think my son has said it a couple times, and it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Somehow we got to use that to our benefit. I don't know how, but we should be able to.
I put in for the commercial last year. They had something going with like a Doritos commercial, and they wanted to look alike, but you needed to be like 6'3" or taller. I didn't really quite fit that bill.
All right. So for my prediction, look, I told myself I'm going to try not to be too much of a homer this year. Try to keep it real. And I feel like I jinx myself. I'm very superstitious, very superstitious. So I say we don't cover. We win. We win by 9, if that makes sense. I don't even know what the score would be. It'd be like 29 to 20.
29 to 20?
29 to 20.
All right.
In the back of my mind, I want to say more, but again, I don't want to be disrespectful. I did feel that the Jet game, I was very disrespectful. When I look back at that prediction, how could I expect them to score 31 points? Seriously, how could I? We hadn't done it last year at all. With the most we had scored, any team that scored in that game was 20. You even said that the defense has the edge early on, and I'm saying 31-24. Come on, not even close.
All right. Yeah.
So what else you got?
Oh,
Marty?
you were saying that for the Jets game, right? Yes.
Yeah. I was saying that for
the.
the Jets, and and I was like, "What the heck was I thinking?" It might have been some of those donuts. You know, from time to time, I got that friend of mine who likes to send us donuts. He says there's something in them, and they take a little bit of that homer from us. Like it's like it brings us back down to reality a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm so optimistic about this team. And like I said, you can look at that game. We got beat. Jets defense, great. They are a great defense. Probably, in my opinion, Jake, top 3. I'm talking Dallas. I'm talking Philly. I'm talking Jets. I don't know which order you would have them in, but those are my top 3 defenses. You have anybody else?
Not right. No, I think you nailed it right on the head there. I mean, maybe the Ravens, Commanders got a nice defense. It's underrated, I think. But I think the top 3 that you just named there, those are definitely the best ones. The Bills, too. Give them some credit. Put some respect on the Bills' name. We still have a top 10 defense at least.
Well, let's see. I mean, let's go against a couple more teams. Obviously, we went against Zach Wilson, who, isn't going to do anything big. To Zach Wilson's credit, he got him the win. He did what he had to. He threw the one pick, and then he calmed down. And he did what he did in the first game last year. He stayed calm. He actually got a win, had a big drive when he needed it. And he did the same thing. He got a big drive when he needed it last week. But, yeah, the Bills' defense looked very, very good. But let's see them in the coming weeks to make sure that that's just not a Zach Wilson reason. Because, and the O-line of the Jets. Let's see them against Jimmy G. And let's see who we got after Jimmy G. Who we got after the Raiders?
We got the Commanders after that.
Oh, that's right, the Commanders. And then, I mean, the Chiefs aren't that far off, right?
No, they're.
Do we play them after Jaguars? Okay, so
we play after the Jags.
We play them after going to London.
Yep.
And then what we see here, we got Topper saying Jets are definitely a top D, but it's amazing that we had many opportunities to win the game. It could be the toughest D. And exactly. You might have seen the best D. Now we're going to see Dallas. We're definitely going to see Dallas, and we're going to see the Eagles, dude. My goodness, wow. So we're going to see. The 3 top defenses that I just said were out there. It is
pretty crazy. Yeah,
right?
It is pretty crazy. Another defense to look out for, the Browns. Jim Schwartz, he's got something going on there. And I underestimated Cleveland, and we may end up seeing them. Might see them in the playoffs. You just never know.
All right, so how's I did want to ask you, I want to follow up on Ian. Ian was a little upset with us, overreaction. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's good. He likes to be very calm, cool, and collected with this stuff. And it's good. It's good that I have him here because there are times where I have my head in my hands during these games. Let me be real with you. It's not always sunshine and roses here. Even though I'm a very optimistic and positive person, there are times where I'm just like, I can't even believe what's going on. And Monday was one of those nights for sure. So we kind of helped keep things in check. And I think he had to throw in his 2 cents just about, remembering it's only week 1 and not to overreact too much.
Yeah, and that was a great point. Wait for the film to come out, watch, and I saw so many more positives than negatives, honestly. There's 4 negative plays that Josh Allen plays, and I'll take 1 away, that first one. But I just want to mention, so the Nickel City Mafia, we've been extremely busy. We should have had, I believe, Chris and Jeremy had a fantasy football show at the same time. Well, actually, they started at 9:30 Eastern time. But listen to this lineup. We got fantasy football. By the way, for those that are new to the channel, I didn't put it, but I will. I'm going to put our Discord link join our Discord. It's absolutely free. You can talk fantasy football. If you're in fantasy football, we have two of the best guys. They play every league, and they go live every Tuesday or Wednesday. They go live. They take questions. They will help you get an edge in your league. But why wait for that? Join the Discord. Talk to them there, because we have a fantasy football thread there. We have a Buffalo Bills thread. We have the AFC East Summit thread. If you want to talk about the reps from the other teams, you can go there and have conversations all week long. They love to engage. But we got fantasy football. We got the Red, White, and Ruthless, which is Sean and Brett. They go live every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. We have a Buffalo Sabres show. Buffalo Sabres show. I just talked to Sam, who's going to be Timmy's co-host. He's excited. Can't wait to meet him.
Hey, Timmy's in the Discord now, by the way. He finally joined.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
So we're going to get this thing rolling probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I know when I started this channel, it was all about, and I say it in the description, we're all about Buffalo and then some. The then some are those other little things that we do. But we are all about Buffalo. I grew up watching the French Connection. I mean, I remember that first Stanley Cup. I was young, but I've been with the Sabres since their existence, Jake. I was young. And I was actually old enough to remember that. Yeah. I mean, I'm only 4 years old at that point, but hey, I'm there. And about 4 years old, you start remembering things. And oh my God, the French Connection was fantastic. So the Buffalo Sabres show, I am so excited to be bringing it to Nickel City Mafia. Again, Red, White, and Ruthless. Fantastic. Go check out their channels. We got Brett from the Go Bills podcast. We've got Sean from the Red, White, and Bills. And they have fantastic stuff going on their channels. But yeah, we got so much going on, Jake. It's fantastic. And we always want to hear back from you guys. If you want to see something else, if you have feedback, like Jake, and I'll say this, I'm not afraid to say this, we always answer all comments. Any comment that comes into our channel after the show, we answer them. And we're kind about it. We are kind about it. But we had someone come on one of our shows said boring. And I don't know if they said boring because of our show or it was the game, but I feel like they were talking about the show. And Jake's like, would you like to join us? Come on the show.
Still haven't gotten a response on that one.
Get a response. Come join us and help us out, but give us constructive criticism. We're up for it. We want to make sure we're bringing you the best that you guys want to see. And, I think we do a pretty good job. I love all the guys on the channel. And so I'm excited, Jake. What do you think about all the stuff we got going on in Nickel City Mafia?
It's a lot to keep up with. I'm super fired up about it. I almost feel bad we went live at the same time as the other guys did, but make sure you check that out, by the way. The fantasy football shows that Chris and Jeremy have been doing, they've been fantastic. They gave us some really good pointers. They talked about Jake Ferguson, who I know was targeted a lot in that Cowboys and Giants game. And I'll tell you what, they said that's a late round sleeper to pay attention to. And he could have had a touchdown that game. And I think he's going to get a whole hell of a lot more targets where that came from. The Cowboys just know how to use tight ends. So that's just one example of a great suggestion that they made to me that I have taken and applied to one of my fantasy leagues. Actually, 3 of my fantasy leagues. 3 of my 10 fantasy leagues.
Yeah, I hope. I'm a little worried because Chris isn't used to going and doing all the production behind the scenes. So I'm hoping that they actually were able to get it going. But yeah, join us in the Discord. We love it. And man, we're just bringing it whatever we can. Thank you so much, Topper. We really appreciate that. We
appreciate the hell out of you.
Yeah, we absolutely do. And Topper, hopefully, I don't know, you have Discord? You should join us, man, so we can talk to you every day of the week. Maybe you don't want to talk to us that much, but
yeah.
But join the Discord. There's so much going on there, and we're just growing that, and it's so much fun to kind of grow the community that way. So, buddy, it was a fun show. Looking forward to the game this week. You'll be there. So good thing we didn't have, last year we were bringing you pregame shows right before the game.
I know.
Early morning.
I know it.
Take lots of pictures. I saw somebody in the channel say take lots of pictures, especially if you go see Pinto Ron. Now, have you seen him before?
Oh, yeah, I have. Plenty of times. It's an awesome experience.
It's so gross. It grosses me out. But
he has an RV with a shower in it. So he gets right into that, takes the shower, and he's good to go for the game.
Oh, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, all right, everyone, have a great night. Thank you so much again. Always fun to interact with all of you. And go Bills. Let's get this victory. Let's get back on track. This team is the real deal. They are much better than they were last year. Week 1 maybe didn't show it, but it did. Watch the film. You'll see everything we talked about in the offseason is there. They're going to get it corrected. Josh Allen's going to calm down. I mean, maybe he's still a little excited about Madden 24. He's a little, still hyped up. Maybe overcommitting on too many signings that he has to do, but he'll clean that up and get it going.
That's right.
So am I handing Jake the keys to Instagram?
I guess I could do some stories while I'm out there, Mike.
Oh, dude. Absolutely.
Would be kind of fun. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Take care. Take care. See you soon,
Bills.
man. Go Bills.